rather than me introducing Joe, I'm going to ask the man who nominated Joe to come join us. He's a past speaker. He spoke on justice in August of 2 years ago, I want to say, on the rooftop of the Contemporary. Mr. Chaz Moore, are you with us, Chaz?
Yeah, I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you. Thanks for being here and helping us to intro Joe.
Hey, so I'll be real quick. First of all, good morning to all you lovely folks. I am glad to introduce one of my good friends, Joe, and I'm glad he's a part of the Creative Mornings family now. This may be the only person that will be better than me, so I'm excited for you all to experience this. And Joe, I can't see your face yet. He's probably still in the mode getting ready. But Joe, I love you so much, and I wanted to make sure that I wanted to make sure that you have somebody that can get you even more ready than I know you are for this experience. Sometimes I'm his Kelly because Joe is a Beyonce, but today I will gladly be his Michelle and let his real Kelly come in and introduce him. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want to introduce you to Joe's best friend in the whole wide world, Ashley Nicole Hickson. I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then she'll be introducing Joe. So Joe, I'm really glad that you are part of this, and I'm glad Ashley can be here to introduce you. And yeah, everybody here for a treat.
I am very happy to be here to introduce Joe. When I think of someone who is creative and talented and passionate, Joe is the first person that comes to mind. He is not only my best friend, but he is the best talent in my life. And I am so grateful that y'all gave him this opportunity to present. I am going to try to stay on as long as I can because it's August in Texas and there's no air here. But I am excited to be a part of this. And thank you again for including him. He works tirelessly at his craft, constantly trying to evolve, constantly trying to amplify the stories that people often overlook and don't give a second thought to. And that is just a testament to his character and how he hones his skills. So thank you again for the opportunity to introduce him.
Oh, it's almost 9 o'clock and I'm already crying. I hate both of you. Oh my gosh. Well, that threw me for a loop. Thank you, Chaz and Ashley. Okay, girl. Let's get it together. I am appreciative of this opportunity. I'm appreciative of the chance to talk about release. I am appreciative of just being here in this space, in this moment, with Marty physically and with all of you virtually. I was excited to talk about the idea of release because first and foremost, I'm a storyteller, I'm a poet, and all of the things that I wanted to talk about today will be a story of buildup and how we got to a point of releasing burdens, releasing the baggage, and releasing the bullshit. And if you have little kids around, I'm so sorry. I'm not really sorry, but this is they told me I could use all of the language in stuff like that, so I'm going to. The beginning of this talk will be a little heavier, and then we'll get to some light stuff. But thank you again to Chaz and Ashley. That was a sweet surprise that I was not anticipating. So yeah, let's get started. So in order to tell this story of release, in order to tell this story of removing so much of the burdens and baggage in my life, I got to tell you the buildup, right? So this will be condensed because I have a time frame, but I want to start with, and actually, in honor of best friends introducing folks, let's just go ahead, put your best friend in the chat and write them a cute little message saying, hey, bestie, at whatever, whoever they are, name their name, and then put, I love you. And maybe send them a text too. Like, I only do that this morning. That was so sweet. But in order to tell a story of release, I got to start with the buildup. And the buildup of this particular story starts on January 23rd when I entered a situation with someone that I describe as like my soulmate. I remember the first time I saw you. 425 was the location, baby blue was the color, and that ass was the message that I received. But I just wanted to be cool, cordial, your friend, maybe someone to hang with from time to time and do Netflix with no chill instead of your fuck buddy or friends with benefits or whatever the fuck would go into fucking you. This time, my dick was gonna stay in my pants because you look like the type of dude that liked to break hearts. But you seemed hella dope, hella cool, calm, and collected. I was impressed that you were into volleyball, that you like to drink whiskey, talk shit, shoot the breeze, and just kick it. You were different. But somehow, some way, it still felt like I'd known you for 3,000 forevers. Maybe our lives had met in the past. Or maybe in an alternate timeline, our next lifetimes are already getting acquainted. Maybe our paths at UT had actually crossed, but my memory wasn't doing the due diligence to remember those beautiful brown eyes or that bountiful backside. You stepped in my mind in ways I had never imagined, as if you were a character from Inside Out, but the buttons that you were pushing brought me to attention. I'm starting to wake up with you both on my brain and my head. I'm starting to develop feelings outside of just friendship as your laugh became intoxicating. Your presence became a necessity. It was 3 months after 10-10 and after meeting those beautiful Browns that I had the chance to go for the prize, January 23rd. The day we shared our first kiss and your eyes staring into my eyes, and I hesitated because I wasn't used to the feeling of your lips on mine. The night of January 23rd, your eyes were the Bermuda Triangle. Your lips made me feel like I'd just bitten into the first succulent strawberry of the summer season. The nuzzle of my nose in your neck saturated my sense of smell with the honey and oat scent of your bath wash. I could stare in your universe all day. You were the physical representation of my mama telling me that the stove was too hot, but I kept reaching to touch you, kiss you, rub you, caress you, hold you. Our bodies were able to recreate the magic of the voices of Marvin and Tammy Terrell. In that moment, you made me feel like I got high for the first time, but the only munchies I had was for you. That night led to the spread of our future kids on each other and the chemistry that neither one of us was ready to handle. January 23rd, the day I left you littered with every essence of me, and we shared the secrets of Saturn and sex. January 23rd, the day I fucked around with my best friend and would unknowingly fuck over what fate was trying to free up to be an amazing friendship. January 23rd, the beginning of the end. So, as you probably have guessed, we started messing around. And then I think as you build with someone, you get to know them deeper and you start to share things and you start to get a lot more comfortable with that person. And this next piece, there's a trigger warning, just FYI. But you start to realize that we all have so much baggage that we're bringing, not even just to relationships, but to friendships, to life. And sometimes it's from childhood. Sometimes it's from what we didn't get as children. Sometimes it's the burdens that our parents have put on us from their own expectations. Sometimes it's being compared to a sibling. Sometimes it's we're trying to find our own identity in our own spaces and who we are, but people don't understand that journey. And so part of my own journey, especially with my person, was kind of exploring the trauma that had been building up in my life and sharing that with someone for the first time. I'd always been the fat faggot. My weight and sexual orientation always seemed to be a topic of discussion my family reveled in with or without me present, as if it were a casual conversation or as simple as saying, pass the peas. I was 11 when my cousin asked me why I was going for a second hot dog at my own birthday. My aunt looked at me and asked me why I was getting bigger. I was the black sheep to them. My sexual orientation up for debate when I didn't even know who I was. Are you gay, they would ask. And I don't really know what gay is, but I know it's something I shouldn't be. I don't know what I feel, but I know I like the dudes in my neighborhood. I know that I don't know is not the appropriate answer, so I lie. But the questions on my queerness don't stop. You sound like a girl. Why you ain't fucking these females? They say. My mom puts me in football as if that was gonna mask the fact that I like men, but sports are not the answer for me. And all it does is add another target on my back, because now instead of my family asking about my sexuality and discussing how fat I am, my friends are wondering whether this boy from Wheatland and Willoughby likes women, or if the rumors of him being a sissy or a punk are true. It was 7th grade the first time that this fat faggot contemplated suicide. I just got into an argument with my mom on why I never played sports like my brother, and generally a comparison of why I wasn't like him. It later led to some other issues that had boiled up and ended with me crying once again and being too emotional. No, I'm angry. I went to listen to Monica and I cut the speakers up because I didn't want anyone to hear me. I decided against cutting myself and decided maybe taking the bottle of pills would alleviate the messiness of my murder. I was 12. I'd always been the fat faggot to my family. I used to think that I was adopted because my mannerisms and personality didn't match theirs. Why was I so different? Why was I so abnormal? I grow up with years of feeling insecure, and maybe I'm too ugly, too fat, too gay, too femme, too much, and I carried that around like I carried it like the extra weight on my body. I let this consume my thoughts, and it was a cancer to my confidence. I was a fake, I was a fraud. I portrayed an image in my adult life that I never believed in because the shadow of suicide constantly followed me. Why did they not love me for me? I was the fat faggot that no one understood until I met him. And he made me feel sexy, and he told me that I was cute, and he made me feel alive. He made me feel like I could conquer the world with him. My voice was a force to be reckoned with. With him, my spirit could save lives, and he saved me. Because with him, I wasn't the fat faggot. I was simply Joe. So part of this buildup is feeling a disconnect and not understanding why. And I want you to imagine, like I'm black, I'm gay, I'm young generally at this time. And all of these questions about my identity, I had not really explored. All of the nuances I had not really explored. We just keep sweeping things under the rug, and it just continues to build. And all of a sudden with this person, I just felt a disconnect. And not even with this person, but in life. Like I didn't feel satisfied at work at the time. I felt connected to friends, but I also didn't feel connected. I wanted to just get away, but I wasn't dealing with the real shit, right? I wasn't dealing with the stuff at the core. I was just acting as if it didn't exist. It was after date 43, and I hadn't talked to you in weeks, and you had questions. Wanted to know why I ran away when you were running towards me, and instead of answers, the only thing that you received were more questions, like, why do you love me? That question had been replaying in my mind over and over and over and over, and why are you not like the last guy that hurt me? What makes you so special that God let you in my life and inserted your life into my life so maybe we can merge and make this our life? How do you stare into the eyes of the man that you love and show them the darkness that you do your due diligence to keep from showing? I was the devil in disguise. I was a looser version of Lucifer, and it seemed that I was the one that would fuck his life up. I would look in the mirror and realize that it's not him, it's me that's the toxic one. I was a tantalizing temptress. I drank in despair and swallowed sorrow, all while making my bed in melancholy. And yet still, here you are. Your eyes staring into my eyes with Your bouncy brown eyes still loving me, holding me, touching me, kissing me, caressing me, telling me that I'm deserving of your love. And more than that, I'm deserving of love. You kiss me when I don't deserve it. You hold me when I feel less than. You touch me when I feel small. You love me in spite of everything that I have ever done. Some people call me Katrina because I left disaster in my wake. Somehow, some way, some reason, you got me. You saw the real me, the one that I've locked in the dungeon deep down in the despairs of my heart. Why you decide to continue to call is beyond me. Why you continue to care is out of my mind. Why you continue to love me is something that I can't fathom. You want me. And at the end of the day, you help me realize that I want me too. So at this point in my life, I just pushed everyone away. And I think you go through life when you're in this like really dark space of just going day by day and just going with emotion. I was at another job I hated, and I will gladly talk about the evil experience I had with Austin Public Health. But I'm past it. Therapy helps. But I think it's important to talk about those trying times. So I'm in this relationship and we was having some issues. I'm at this job I don't like. I'm dissatisfied with where I was in life in general. I felt like it shouldn't be this hard. And I think the world puts out there like, oh my gosh, just keep pushing, you'll make it. And that's not the case. Like, it's harder than that. And it's easy to say those words, but sometimes you just want someone to sit with you in your shit and just be there. You just want someone to like love you and just hug you at that moment and not say anything, right? And part of the release is you keep building it. It keep building and building and building inside of you. And they say it gets better, but I don't know if I believe them like that. It's hard to have hope when you're going through hell. Hard to believe in anything when life keeps beating, breaking, and bashing your ass. Hard to have faith when we keep falling and fucking up. What's the use of waking up, working a job I hate to live a life without love and deal with folks who don't even want to fuck with me on the regular? So I come up with my own way to cope. Because honestly, doubt and depression have been beating my ass while the devil seems to be yelling world star, while simultaneously trying to deplete me of the little dopeness I do have. So I turn to Tito, jam with Johnny, Jim, and Jack, make out with Morgan because I'm tired of dealing with the pressure, the people always telling me to admit my problems. But personally, it's hard. I should have my shit together, but shit is so fucked up, I don't even know where to start. So I'm just angry. I'm disgusted with myself, and the darkness seems to be surrounding me. They say it gets better, but the only thing I see is Black people being murdered, gay folks being persecuted, trans folks being attacked and killed, me trying my hardest to survive when I can't even get a hug. So I'll keep turning to Tito, jamming with Johnny, Jim, and Jack, making out with Morgan, because they seem to be the only reasons that I'm still here. So I'm skipping a whole bunch because, I ain't got that much time, but me and the guy ended up ending things, and it was not a great breakup, but are they ever? It was on my birthday, and my friends know my birthday is really special to me. And so how like you just have an intuition, like you just know. And I think a lot of folks who deal with men may know this. You just know some shit in your spirit is not right. If you've ever had the power of discernment, just type in discernment in the chat. If you have ever felt like something is not right in this relationship, something is wrong. So I just remember sitting there staring at him. We was chilling, watching an old volleyball match, and I was like, what's wrong with you? Completely caught him off guard, just didn't even know what to do. And he was like, nothing, it's just work. I accepted that at the time, but my spirit was still stirring, So we ended because on my birthday, I was like, just tell me the truth. That's it. After he gave me my birthday gift, which was not that great, by the way. And no shade I'm not a gift person, but girl, some socks from Walmart. not even Target, stuff like that. So long story short, we end up breaking up the night. He leaves. We go out to do a power hour at the club because I needed to go. And this is maybe a year after it. So I'm at a better job, but the stuff where he and I had not even like dealt with. I had not even like begin to deal with or process. I felt like I needed something more. And so this is where this piece came from. Someone asked me, do I miss you? I responded, how can I miss what I never truly had? Someone asked me, do I think about you? And I told them I'd rather think of death than you. Someone asked me, will I ever speak to you? And I told them I would speak to the devil first because I used to think we were friends, but to you, we were nothing more than a fable, fallacy, and me still thinking that this fat little faggot could have the fairy tale ending, that I could have you, instead of facing what was right in front of me. When I was searching for what I thought was gold, when you were nothing more than common gutter trash. For so long after you, I believed it was my fault for falling for another fuckboy, but it's on you. Because you always revel in your fuckery and remind me time and time again why I always said you were self-centered and selfish. Why do you still call me? Was the last conversation not enough for you? Is there more damage that you want to cause me? Because I finally closed the wounds that are tattooed with your name, the scars that are remnants of our relationship. I often wonder, do you have any fucking remorse? Was it real? Like, did this shit really happen? Or was my reality so fucking distorted that I was projecting feelings onto you? There was a time when I couldn't see a future without you in my life. And here we are with me without you in my life. You were supposed to be mine. I gave you a piece of me I never knew I had, and you treated it like it was something that you'd already had. So here I am again, asking God why she didn't give me a deeper voice. Why didn't she lighten my skin? Why didn't she make me taller? Why did she make me so feminine? Because it's me. And I talk too much and I'm too aggressive. I ain't cute enough, I guess. I'm too abrasive. I'm too fat. I have too much hair on my body. Why don't you love me the way that I obviously love you? I keep having to get over you every time I see you. A tidal wave of emotions that just can't help me get over the time that we had. It's too much. I think back to a time where I wanted nothing more than to make you mine, but you wanted someone else. I miss the friendship more than I miss anything. But you don't know how to be my friend. Do you think about me the way I think about you? Do you miss me the way I sometimes miss you? My friends say you were a fraud, but I'd like to think I saw the real you. Our situation is convoluted, confusing, and cumbersome because we went from friends to friends that kiss, to friends that kiss, to friends that fucked around, to friends that fucked around, back to being friends, back to being friends, then to friends falling to friends that fucked once again, to friends that aren't friends, to foes, to fuck buddies, to friends that are fucking other people, back to trying to be friends, to back to friends being me standing in an empty parking lot at 2 a.m. saying, I love you, I hate you, you broke me, took advantage of me, you lied to me. You expect me to smile in your face and be around you as if nothing transpired between us. You broke me and left me with pieces that I truly don't know how to put back together. Because you were the only one with the instructions. You told me once that you were scared. And I told you, don't worry, got you, I'll protect you. But what I didn't tell you is that I was scared too. And it turned out that no one was there to protect me. I wish I could forget you, but honestly, I don't think I ever will. So at this point in my life, that was the beep telling me I got a little, maybe like five or so minutes. And Marty telling me it's okay, keep going. So at this point in my life, I went to church. This is not at all like, oh my gosh, go to church to figure out your shit. No, I went to a church that this this Black woman, Dr. Sherry Ben, that works at Texas State, who is amazing. She had led this small congregation of an affirming church. It was a radical church where services were once a month. We did service, and then there was some sort of inclusion of communities that are disproportionately impacted by life. So the queer community, undocumented folks, trans folks were all included in stories of the Bible. And that fucked me up because I had never heard of that. I had never been to a church in my adult life, and the description of people from the Bible were people that were in my own community. Like, imagine going to a church where you hear about a trans woman in the Bible. And I was like, phew. And that was the impetus for me to start the journey of healing. And this is where we can get to the release. Like, imagine living your life every single day feeling like you're on edge, like you don't know what's going to happen, like you can't make it to the next day. And this is not just my story. I have so many friends whose testimonies are so powerful, and I am lucky because I still had access to resources to help. I still had access to a job. I still had access to housing. None of that I also had to deal with, healthcare. But imagine dealing with all this shit life gives us, relationships and trying to figure out the world and our purpose and passions. And you have to deal with, I don't know where I'm gonna sleep at night. I don't have a job. I have this issue. I don't have healthcare. Like, I can not imagine. So because I have these opportunities, I felt like it was a disservice to not start the work and to not talk to someone to see, like, why am I feeling like this? And part of it was, I felt like I had been a mean person to a lot of folks. And they may not have agreed, but I had to start apologizing to folks, even for small stuff. Like, this one person I played volleyball with was like, I was like, what's the issue? What's the beef between us? And he was like, you told me that I was inconsistent at volleyball. Granted, he was inconsistent at volleyball, but was that my place to say? Yes and no. So I apologized. I'll take that. I'll own that because I made you feel a way about yourself and I was putting you down. So I have to own up that I did something to another Black gay man, right? And I don't want that on my life. I don't want that on my heart or my spirit. So I'm sorry, and it will never happen again. I will never call you inconsistent. I won't even call you at all. So we're good. I went on a year of just apologizing and making shit right. And even with Chaz, we call it the blip because there were like 5 years we didn't talk. But I also had to apologize and hear the apology from him because this is someone who had been such an instrumental part of my life. Like when I was at UT, Chaz was one of the first people I told I was gay, aside from my best friend, Ashley, and is a brother to me. And imagine like me not saying anything and me not even going to him about my issues that I had. I felt like I started building and working, and finally I felt like I could start breathing a little bit. And part of that work is to also feel confident in my body. My body was changing. I lost weight, I gained weight, but I have to feel confident in who I am every day. And I did the work to feel vibrant and sexy with or without anyone, without all the baggage of my family, without all the shit they bring me. And I also had to learn to accept my family for who they are. It was a struggle, but we got there. It's 11 p.m. Condensation from my shower covers the bathroom mirror. I'm alone, but still surrounded by my thoughts, feeling attacked by my feelings and having countless conversations with my insecurities, nude. Standing in front of the mirror with nothing but water from the shower covering me, staring into a body I was born into but told to hate. Exposed with nothing but the hills and valleys, the swerves and curves, the blemishes and the flaws, feeling uncomfortable with tears streaming down my face. That are masked by the wetness from the shower, the feeling of freedom is slowly overcoming the feeling of fear. My body, big and beautiful, large and in charge, chunky, never funky. It's 11 p.m. And I'm slowly drying off my body, learning to marvel at the mannerisms, falling for the femininity innate in me. I look in the mirror, trying not to give into the evil of the world, trying to show the world, to tell the world that I feel more confident in the bigger size I am now than when I was a skinnier girl in a relationship with a decent job and people were complimenting me on the weight loss and how good I looked during a time when I hated myself and hated the man I was with. Back then, baby Joe didn't have the confidence that I have now. Didn't have the swag that I have now, didn't have the knowledge that I have now, didn't have the light that was in me, didn't know that I was the sun. It's 11 p.m. And I'm standing in front of the mirror, looking at myself clearly, no longer hiding. 3 years ago, this same mirror was covered with compliments on Post-it, so I didn't have to look at myself. A mask, worn to hide the scars of hurt, pain, betrayal, insecurities, fear. It's 11 p.m. And I'm staring in the mirror, reminded of the fullness of my lips, the wideness of my nose, the lightness of my voice, the heaviness of my body. I'm reminded of me, a boy, black gay boy from Oak Cliff who is more effeminate and sometimes too masculine and selfish and sometimes messy and sometimes rude and impatient and hard on everyone and scared. It's 11 p.m. and I'm standing in the mirror nude, naked, exposed but feeling safe, secure, surrounded by love. It's 11 p.m. Feeling at ease and learning to love me, finally. So I want to end this chat about the full circle, right? You know, how do we get to release? The release of emotions, the release of toxicity, the release of baggage and burdens and bullshit. And it's facing the demon and the devil themselves head on. So I want to set the scene. I am talking to my friend, and I can say her name, Ashley, a different Ashley than my best friend, who invited me to a crawfish boil. Granted, I do not eat crawfish, but I love the sausage, potatoes, and corn. And this girl had told me if you get some Raising Cane sauce and dip that potato in it, bitch, legendary, life-changing. So anyway, I go to this crawfish bowl and she knew about the past with this ex. And I was like, hey, will he be there? You know, she was like, nah, he won't be there. Oh, I see a baby. I'm so sorry for cursing. Will he be there? And she was like, nah, he won't be there. So we're there. And we're there for hours. We had been there for hours. And lo and behold, who walks in? Him. And I swear at that moment, time froze. But let me just say the piece and then I'll explain. What do you say to the one who broke your heart? What do you say to the man you gave your everything to? The one you risked it all for? What do you say when you're face to face with the face of the man whose beautiful brown eyes you grew to love? But here I am at a crawfish boil on a midsummer night while my friend is crying and drunk. It's 10 p.m. and I have a vodka water in my hand with 2 limes, 1 lemon. When time stops and the man that I loved more than I loved life itself walks in, the man I gave pieces of myself to that I will never get back. And I'm wondering, am I really over him? Do I still love him? Years have passed and distance has grown between us, but our connection is still the elephant in the room. Our chemistry is still apparent. What do you say? How do you feel? And for a moment, I'm taken back in time to a time when all I wanted to do was to spend time with you, watch volleyball, stay up for hours, vibe, be cool, calm, but never collected, and just big kick it, drinking whiskey. Seeing you transfers me back to the first time I saw you when baby blue was the color, 425 was the location, and that as was the message that I received. I'm taken back in time to the time when my mom was sick and it was in your arms that tears ran down my face and you rocked me to sleep, telling me that I was gonna be okay. Taken back in time to dreams I devised of us, wishes and wants of you and I together. I gave you my love. But what do you say to the man who ripped your heart out? Do you remind them of the time they told you time was up and that they no longer had time to be with you? Do you remind them of Brandon, the one that they left you for? Do you remind them of midnight on your birthday, standing on the stoop under the light of the stars when they told you they loved someone else? I saw a future with him, but that was nothing more than dashed dreams and a never-ending nightmare. I wanted my last next to his first, and kids and a white picket fence. Is 10 p.m. And I'm sipping the vodka water in my hand with 2 limes, 1 lemon. And you're standing right in front of me, nervous because you don't know what I'm going to do. And honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do either. My friend that was crying is now stopped and is staring at the 2 of us, not knowing what I'm about to do. Hell, not even God herself knows what I'm about to do, say, or how I'm going to act. What do you say to the man who broke your heart, the one who unknowingly embedded insecurities into your spirit, broke your soul and treated you like trash on the street? It's 10 p.m. and we are back under the light of the stars, and your eyes are staring into my eyes, and my eyes are staring into your eyes, full of curiosity and surprise. I'm staring at the face of a man I know like the back of my own hand, the man I know better than I know my own self. I'm staring at my past, and finally, I feel like the lock of love he placed on me is broken, unlocked, unchanged. I finally feel like I can walk away. I see Joe, I see love, but more importantly, I see my own light. And I can appreciate Joe so much more for what he overcame. I no longer see a failure, I see clarity. What do you say to the man that broke you? Simply say thank you. Thank you for setting me free. Thank you. I wanted to tell this story of release because I'm a Black gay man who's bigger in society and doesn't fit the mask and femme binaries. And I see my struggle that I've been through, and I survived it. And I've released so many negative emotions that I had about my own self into the world and the universe and let them go. I've released so many toxic folks in my life. And I've learned to appreciate what they gave me and what they poured into me at that time, but just realizing that I deserve better. And so I release the insecurities, I release the struggle, I release the pain, and I accept love. I accept my friends, my family that has supported me, and release the friends and fam that don't. And I am much, much more filled with joy and happiness. And even when there are moments that I feel broken, I can still smile and continue on my journey. So thank you.
I don't even know if it's appropriate to do Q&A at this point. It just feels like we should just leave it. But I also just want to respect the fact that maybe someone does have a pressing thing. Maybe that it's stirred something for them. It stirred a lot for a lot of people. So I want to leave a little space for anyone who has a comment, even as well as a question. But I will say thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just chime in, Joe. Thank you so much. So much love for your story, and so much love for you. Just thank you for being a part of this community and powerful stuff. You tweeted yesterday or the day before that you were gonna. You asked who was ready for some dope shit, and those words don't come naturally to my suburban dad mouth, but you did. You brought it. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And I told you I was going to cry.
You're not the only one. You're not alone on that front. So thank you. Thank you so much.
And I'm being told, I think Beverly has something she wants to add.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I just unmuted. I'd written in the chat that, you'd mentioned early on in your reading that, you felt like you were broken and you didn't know how to put all the pieces back together. Throughout this narrative, to me, it was very clear that you were trying to put those pieces back together, not necessarily having a box, the picture on the box. How many of those pieces, though, did you find weren't even yours in the first place?
Yeah, I think a lot of them were not mine, and people had put them in my little box, and part of that is there's a piece that I didn't perform. It's like the ideals that we get from childhood of this picture perfect life, and we're supposed to go to school, get a job after school, have a family, live with that family, retire, and live a happy life. And I didn't necessarily always subscribe to that idea, but it was always placed on me. The expectations of our parents are sometimes placed on us. And I was looking at this video the other day, this mom and her daughter, and the mom was apologizing to the daughter because the daughter went to school and then dropped out and was like, I was afraid to tell my mom because she had went to school because her mom told her. Her mom went to school because her grandmother told her. And she was like, I was afraid to tell my mom because I knew I would disappoint her because she had so many expectations of me doing the same thing. And going because, well, my mom wants me to do it. Let me do this. And I think in my life, and not specific to my mom, but just family and folks in general, there were so many expectations placed on who I was, who I should have been, who I should be, what I should do when I grow up. And really, it's lonely and isolating when I graduated and looked up and I was like, we just go to work and come home every day. That's boring, this is all I have to expect. And that's when I started the journey, but it really was when I was with my ex, where I had all of these pieces to a puzzle that was foreign to me and didn't look like anything that I had wanted. And I think I still have some of those pieces that are not mine. A lot of internalized things that I learned, internalized homophobia, internalized sexism, I'm still unlearning so many things, but that's the beauty of it. I'm acknowledging that. I'm acknowledging the past trauma, and I'm learning just how detrimental some things are, and I can speak on that journey.
Thank you. And you speak so beautifully to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beverly. I see two other questions, and I'm going to go a little out of order because the first one I think could be potentially a quick answer. Joe, can you remember who the person, the character in the Bible was that was trans? Laura would like to share that with her younger brother. If you
No, I can't. So I can't remember. I just remember the space and who I was with. And I don't even think it was necessarily, I think it was a representation and an artistic choice of Dr. Ben to tell that story with that representation in mind. Because a lot of times when we come with like pastors and spiritual leaders and stuff like that, it's very much so binary, and it's very so much, especially in the Black community, I felt like God was white for a long time. But I think she's a Black woman. I think she's dope. But that's me and my artistic license, right? Because I can only imagine all the suffering, all the shit going on in the world. I definitely think it's a Black woman who's like, get your shit together, and I can hear her voice. But that's me and my journey and my own thoughts and opinion. Yeah. And honestly, I would tell your I think brother,
younger brother,
to take the things, if they are spiritual and religious, to take the lessons and apply it to their own life, but not to take the person that's portrayed to them.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. All right, Rebecca, we're going to invite you to come up mute and finish up our Q&A period here.
I think it just goes off Beverly's question about the pieces. It just seems like, Joe, that you did such hard work and you had that crawfish boil happen at the right time. And I think one of the frustrations of heartbreak is just people say like it takes time and you just do all the work and you just never know when it's going to feel like you have that release. What would you say for people that are trying to heal from heartbreak and they just are really frustrated by the timeline?
I'm going to say two things. One, I do agree it takes time. And part of it is I think we aren't always recognizing how deeply things impact us. And there are times, even now, I will be walking somewhere and I will smell like a fragrance, the oat and honey thing I mentioned, and I will immediately think of him, immediately think of him. But one of the things that I've given myself grace to is this is someone who was such a critical part of my life. How can I not celebrate what he poured into me? And so I had to change my own frame of thinking of, I hate you, F you, fuck you, whatever. I feel that way sometimes. But I also realized like I learned a lot about myself when I was with him. And I changed the focus since I am Beyonce of what did he give Beyonce in that moment and how did he make my own voice stronger? I felt like with him, I learned a lot more about my writing. I feel like I wrote so beautifully and eloquently when I was with him, but it wasn't him. It was that he was pouring into me what I needed at that time. And so if someone is going through something, feel those emotions. Talk to your friends about what you need in that moment, because I leaned on my friends. You know, that night when we came from the club, the power hour, I was like, I want to go out for an hour. Like, boom, let's go drink. I got to forget this. And then my friend Chad, I was bawling when I got home because I finally hit the emotions. He just held me that night. And this is a cis het man who, you know, isn't as emotional as I am, but is holding me and rocking me to sleep because of the pain that I was in. But I felt that pain, you know, I leaned into it because I needed to experience all of those emotions. And then the last thing I would say is give yourself grace to feel it. Give yourself, even if it's a year and you have like a moment where you're thinking about it, lean into that and think about it. Write it down. Do what you need to do to purge those emotions and to process them. And then find something that can help you get out of any funk that you're in. And sometimes I'll just play Pokemon because I need to just not think and to catch Pikachu, you know, Onyx, Geodude. Need to focus on that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love it that Pokemon has entered the chat. That's a sure sign. That's a
I'm
sure
multifaceted.
sign. Thank you so much, Joe, for being here this morning, a part of this community. People sometimes call us the Church of Creativity. I don't want to go that far because I don't want to get into the analogies and like, geez. But I'll just say you brought a sermon that was worth hearing this morning. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Before we part ways, we just want to thank all of the volunteer organizers that helped make this happen. Directing today was Anne, who we got to hear earlier, talk about the ways that we can help the Afghan people, the refugees who are coming to our community. I want to thank Brittany, who's been in the chat, giving you links to everything that we've talked about. I want to thank Kim, who's always behind the scenes helping out, who's not feeling well right now. Feel better, Kim. Robin, for helping us deliver on the promise of free breakfast this morning. Cam, who read our manifesto, and then my co-host, Brian. On behalf of all of them, thank you, or all of us, thank you to these organizers. And on behalf of all of us, thank you for being a part of this creative community and have an amazing weekend. We love y'all. We'll see you next month.
No way, no how, no time, not now. I've got too much to lose. He said, she said, promises left unkept. So now you get what you choose. Strange fruit, swing low, so hard, let go. I guess you can't beat the taste. Been here for so long, it's easier to hold on now than admit your mistakes. So we pray for the day, and we dream of a time as we look for a place, try and sleep through the night. Lord help me, 'cause this is America, red, white, and blue. this is America. It ain't the same for me and you. Protest, pro-choice, profess, make noise. It's time for a change. See her truth, it takes time. Me too, Black lives. It all feels the same to me. So we pray for the day, and we dream of a time as we look for a place, trying sleep through the night. Lord help me, 'cause so this is America, the red, white, and blue. So this is America. This is America, the red, white, and blue. So this is America. This is America. Oh, the red, white, and blue, baby, baby, baby. So this is America. It ain't the same. It ain't the same for me and you. It ain't even close. It ain't even. It ain't even close. Well, the corner of despair and hope is where I was born, and I just can't seem to move.